Welcome to the 18th episode of the Who, What, When, Where, and the Why podcast. My name is Kathleen Johnson, and I'm your host today and the marketing director at the YMCA. And with me today are two amazing women from the wide world of gymnastics, head coach Rachel Cummings and team coach and gymnastics coordinator Nancy Smith. Nancy will be familiar to most of you. She's been around the Y for a long period of time, so I want to welcome both of you to the podcast today.
Thank you.
Yes. So warning, this gets a little crazy sometimes. We're just going to have a little bit of a conversation. I'm going to ask you some 10-question round questions at the end. That'll be super fun for us to get to know you a little bit better. But the title to today's episode is called Warning. I may flip, twirl, or tumble at any time. Gymnastics is my life.
Yep.
So today we're going to talk about YMCA gymnastics, a little bit of history of the Y's gymnastics, how long it's kind of been going. And nicely enough, I bring Nancy with me, who's been part of an actual gymnastics team at our YMCA. So that's going to be fun to listen to. And then Rachel's going to talk to us about where we're headed and all that great stuff that's coming up, including the competitive tryouts for the competitive team. And also just like a little bit about what Nationals is going to bring to us this year. So we're excited to hear about that. So, Rachel, let's start with you. Is this your first podcast?
It is my first podcast.
It is well, welcome to Podcast World. Josh takes really good care of us from behind the scenes, and so we're excited and happy to be with him again today, running the behind the scenes part of the episode. What about you, Nancy? Have you been to a podcast before?
This is my first.
This is our first. Well, this is awesome. We'll have, obviously, it's going to go great, and we'll have you back, right? So, and we'll do this lots more. But when did you guys first start your quest in gymnastics, Nancy?
Back when I was in 7th grade, we had a Saturday morning gymnastics class that we just went and ran around, and we did some cartwheels. We didn't really know what we were doing. And then Tom Armstrong's wife, Karen, would come in and do some exercises with us and kind of like aerobic stuff. And then we had a little bit of equipment, not very much, a beam and some mats. And which is way different than what we have now. And then it grew, and then some other ladies, dance lady, Sue Barr, came in and started, she got interested in gymnastics. And the rule was you learn a trick, you teach it to somebody else. Oh. And that's how we grew. And we still do that. Yeah, we still do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Rachel, when did you first start out?
I started when I was 3. And
oh, my.
I began at American Gymnastics, and that was in Dover, Ohio, and that was under the ownership of Bonnie Rogers and Mark Perry.
Okay. And we're familiar with Bonnie because she's part of the Rise.
She now
history.
Volunteers in our actual team program. I started there, and when I was about 5 or 6, a lot of my friends decided, like, this is not for me. It's too hard. I want to quit. So they were able to quit. I tried the same thing with my parents, and they said, no way. You're going to stay, and you're going to finish. We aren't quitters. And so I continued there and until I was in junior high. And right before 7th grade came, it was, is it gymnastics or is it sports? And so I decided to leave gymnastics. I held on gymnastics through cheerleading and other sports. And then through high school, I began helping coach my own cheerleading team members, spotting them. I was telling Nancy I had got a lot of experience spotting the younger girls when I was 6th grade, 11, 12 years old, when I did not want to be on the balance beam. I snuck away and started coaching and spotting the other girls. And then our coaches sort of didn't mind that I was helping because they were short-staffed as well. And then secretly I was getting out of my own work on the event that I did not like at all.
Oh, that's tricky. That's kind of like me in track. I would just go do the high jump because I didn't want to run. So I wasn't good at the high jump either, but it was at least a soft landing. So that's awesome. Those are really great stories. So Nancy, I'm going to float some pictures your way that when I prepare for a podcast, I usually look for some history. And so some of these, I believe, might be you.
Yeah.
Where are you there, Nancy? Yeah, up at the top. So this is fun. I love this picture of Nancy. It's just really cute. But I have some others, and I'm just going to kind of float through some of these, and some are you and some are not. But I believe you're in this picture. Are you in this picture?
Yeah, I'm a Wyatt. Yeah.
She's a Wyatt. Oh, yep. So this one is Nancy as a Wyette.
And so,
What is a Wyette?
Volunteer leaders. You go and you help teach class. Back then, I did mainly a lot of swimming classes and then a little bit of gymnastics classes because we really didn't have a big gymnastics program at the time. But and then we helped wherever, like there.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about this.
Now, that one over there is in the old Y.
Okay.
The one that used to be on Tuscarawas Avenue.
Yeah.
This is at our Y now before we changed it all
Right.
over.
This is the main gym.
Yeah.
The basketball courts. I love these rings.
Yeah. We had the boys
Isn't that crazy?
would come. We had trampoline. And
that's
more
fun.
of a fitness type of thing.
Now, this is one of my favorite pictures from the Y. I don't think this is not you.
Patty Thompson.
Patty Thompson. This, I think out of all the pictures that I scan through, this one always just catches my eye. It's just a really fun picture of a gymnast. I love that. Now, I want you, people in our podcast zone, I want you to kind of keep watching the shapes of the eyeglasses, the hairstyles, and the clothing that people are wearing. This gets a little funny.
That's one of our first official teams. We had some little teams before that, but the coach was Sue Barr.
Okay, she has great hair in this picture, doesn't she?
She always had great hair. She just passed away.
And this
recently.
is
Gary Sircone.
Gary Sircone.
He
Yeah,
has
I was going to say that. He looks familiar to me.
Yeah, and down at the other corner is Carol Glenn.
Okay.
And she has passed also.
Yeah,
So,
but
unfortunately.
look at this bunch of kids. It's cute.
This is all the old Y. Yeah.
This picture is funny to me because their posture, you would be like, sit up straight, girls.
Point the toes, straight leg.
Yeah. I'm like, somebody's not, like this toe, like, I can imagine Coach Rachel be like, yeah, fix all that before we start. This is an interesting picture as well.
Yeah, that's later on. This is over at the new building. Well, our building.
Yeah, our building now. This is in this is 1977, 78 team.
And, the lady in charge was Sue Smith.
Okay. Sue Smith, this one right here in the center.
Right.
And I'm just saying this from the 1970s world because I lived it and I was young then. This coach right here would have gotten me to go to gymnastics.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who that is, but I'm like, he looks like Leif Garrett or somebody from, I'm like, he's a picture on a wall.
The interesting thing about that also is the uniforms, the
Yes.
leotards. Those were all hand sewn by two of the mothers.
What?
Yeah. And those were fancy back then.
Yeah, that is awesome. This is 1990 or 1980.
Okay.
This is a 1980s team.
Okay, we have the Zender girls in there.
Again, look at their shirts.
Yeah.
I love like just their leotards. Some of them have on
Just whatever they
different-
want.
Yeah, whatever they want. But styling of the hands is much better. We've improved
Yes.
on this one. Now, this is again one of my favorites.
The 80s hair.
The 80s hair.
And that is my daughter in the back.
Which one?
Right there. Yeah.
Oh my
Stephanie.
goodness, look at that hair. Rachel, did you have this hair at one point in
I
your
did
life?
when I was going like kindergarten, first grade. My mom would do my bangs like that.
Yeah.
Rollers in my hair.
I love this picture. Yeah. This is so, this is actually, we think it's the 80s, but it's actually a 1990s picture.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah, so that is really fun. And then as we get closer and closer, here's Coach Nancy Smith up there in the corner by my finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and again, the teams, now these weren't handmade. Please don't tell me that. I'm going to be like, man, I need to take up sewing. The uniforms start to get fancier. And then, our teams now, I love just being able to see all the pictures of the teams as we go. And we have a showcase in the back that showcases some of the things that they've done. So just kind of, was this a fun trip down memory lane for you?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the things that happened back then that you're like, we've come a long way. Like,
Well, our vault, for one thing, used to look like a horse. It actually had legs that had hoofs on it.
oh,
And it was only little. Now we have this big table that they vault over. Of course, they vault a lot harder. We just
Right.
jumped over it.
right.
And on the bars, they used to be close, and we would do things like V-sits and scales. And now they swing and fly, and it's kind of fun,
Right.
but a little dangerous.
Can you remember back to like maybe the first Olympics that you really just paid attention to, and who were some of those early on gymnasts that just stole your heart?
I don't remember her name, but I remember watching her. It was a Russian girl. She had big white hair and blonde, and it was all piled up. And, I was like, maybe 8 at the most. And my dad said, "Look at this, Nancy." And I just sat there and watched it.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about the sport at all, but I knew I liked to do bridges.
Right. And I think that the Olympics just plays a huge important part in these programs and just the inspiration behind it all. And I love to see a lot of times on bulletin boards, you guys will have pictures of some of the more professional gymnasts and what they're doing. And so that always tends to be so much fun to me. And I feel bad that television has gotten kind of so complex that sometimes, when I can remember, Nancy, you probably were this way as well, that when the Olympics was on, you didn't watch anything else. That was it. Mm-hmm. And you couldn't wait to see the gymnastics part or and just be amazed at what they could do. What about you, Rachel? When's the first time you really started thinking about, well, here's the Olympics, and who was your favorite?
I started, my first memory was the 1996, and that was the Magnificent Seven. And Dominique Mucciano was this tiny little, I think she might have been 13 at the time, and she's the one who just stole my heart, and that's who I looked upon. And I remember one of my best friends at the time had gone to see them and got a signature, like all their signatures on a folder for me and brought it back. That's how obsessed I was. Every school project was over the, Magnificent Seven. And even to this day, I go back and watch the reruns of that Olympics and I show my daughter, and it's just phenomenal. And then this past summer, one of my gymnasts at the team went to a summer camp. Dominique Mucciano actually has her own gymnastics studio in Medina, and so she was up there working, and she got her signature for me, and I just was like starstruck just standing there because Landry was able to be one-on-one with Dominique and get her coaching perspective, and it was so neat. It was phenomenal.
That is great. Those are great stories because you do just really wonder about where people's inspiration come from and what they want to continue through and how that gets them there. And that every piece of that is so important. And so when it comes to coaching, you guys know that what you do, I hate to say make or break, but it really influences in lots of ways. So let's talk about, what are some of your key elements to coaching that have brought you great success? So let's start with you.
This is only my second year coaching a gymnastics team. I've coached many other just tumbling classes. So I don't have much experience, but just from the teaching and education world, because I was there 10 years, my big success, especially, I'm only 34, but I've seen a huge change in just from like how I was taught and how I was brought up to how the kids now are. And I've decided you have to be positive and have fun with them, still structured and not chaotic, but give them a little bit leeway into taking ownership of their own learning and their own motivation to wanting to be better, instead of just, me harping on them, we have to do this, and making it so strict that they don't enjoy it. Right. And then they don't want to be a part of it, especially with all of the school sports and all the biddy programs start so young. These athletes have many opportunities to choose, where to be elsewhere. And so if it is such a demanding, strenuous, stressful sport on them, they're not going to want to be here. Right. But if I can bring in laughter and very great rapport with the kids and have it to be somewhere they enjoy being with their friends and others and just having fun, learning, but still structure, just definitely positivity too.
Great. Nancy, what's one of your key?
A lot of the same as Rachel, but also keeping them busy. Structure is important, and having a good show that you care. They like that you ask how their test was yesterday, or some of the ones are in different sports. We try to
watch.
Yeah, go watch or ask how it went. And I saw a play from one little girl this winter, and just know that you're a person too.
Yeah. I do think that's That's so important because a lot of times, your coach is, you spend a lot more time with your coach sometimes than, especially in season, than you do with maybe a parent. And so, by the time you get home from school, you spend all that time at school with your teachers, and then you go to practice and you spend all that time with your coach. You might get like an hour or so with mom and dad, and then you go do your homework and you go to bed. And so, it is really, I think, the importance of role modeling to the kids, and just I love the atmosphere back there when you go back, and you're creating confident young women back there that this is going to be a story, part of their story for their entire life, and they may bring their kids into gymnastics and all that kind of stuff. Nancy, have you seen some generations of gymnastics?
Just a few.
Just a few?
Well, actually, almost all our coaches are ex-gymnasts on our team or have been part of our program for a long time. So, we've had a lot of them come through. Well, we have a coach right now she was on our team, and then she came back and she's coaching, but her daughter is on the team, and Rachel's daughter is on the team. So we have a lot of generations. Yeah.
That's good. So, I know you have been in other sports. What are some of those sports that you've been in? I
had done volleyball, track, and then cheerleading.
And do you think the skills in gymnastics helped you in those other sports?
Absolutely. The hand-eye coordination, the strength. The big part is strength. And even to this day, I still have, like, my shoulders are so strong and I say it's from gymnastics. Those years of all the handstands and...
Yeah.
You can't build them with, weights. It's pure body weight.
And Nancy, you talked about helping out with swimming. So was there a time where you were going to choose between the two? Were you on a swim team at all, or you just...
I was at the Y's first girls swim team.
Of course.
But we used to swim at the old Y, and we followed after the boys. And then we turned into a diving team. We did diving.
Wow.
And but I did years of ballet. So, but at the Y, and you did it all. You just stayed.
Just hung out.
I just walked there, and my mom was fine with that because she knew where it was.
Right, right. And you just got involved in a lot of different things.
Yeah, everybody did everything back then. It wasn't like now where everything takes over so much of your time that you can't do too many multiple sports.
Right, right. I think that our gym has come a long way. So from the history that we talked about, do you have any other, she's got some notes over there. So I'm like, you got anything else on those notes over there?
This is just about coaches.
Oh, yeah. Talk to us about some of the coaches we've seen.
Husband-wife coaches, even from the beginning. We had a husband-wife team came down from Kent every year and did clinics with us. But then we had Dick Doffett and his wife, Barb. They were all volunteer.
Okay.
With Polly Porcher, with Ron Porcher. And unfortunately, he just passed this last year. My husband and I, he used to be a coach.
Really?
In fact, that's how we met at the gym.
Love in gymnastics. I like it.
And then Kenny and Sandy DeBose.
Oh,
and she's a track cross-country coach now. Yeah. There was quite a few others, too, but it was... that's 54 years of...
I feel like John Biddecofer, is he in that?
Yeah, he was, but he didn't, his wife didn't.
His wife wasn't with him, but John, longtime employee of the YMCA.
She might have helped a little bit. I think you're right. Yeah.
And I remember him talking about his daughter a lot, being on the gymnastics team.
She was very good. She went up to private clubs up in Canada.
Yeah, so fun. That's awesome. Okay, so let's look to the future. We're soon, nationals are coming. So let's talk about competitive team. What kind of commitment is that, Rachel?
It's a full year commitment, and the girls practice 2 to 3 times a week. And the competition season actually starts the end of November, and then we have regionals this weekend, so that's here mid-April, and then nationals don't start until the end of June.
Oh, okay.
So you get a tiny little break, but it's not like, the gymnasts can't go on break because they still have to work routines and make their skills better and better. So it's full year long.
That's nice. Okay. And so how do you become part of a gymnastics team?
So at RY, we will hold this season, we will hold a tryouts. It's a 2-day May 16th and May 18th, and it's from 4 to 5:30, and that's normally when our level 3s practice. So we're going to have those new girls who are interested just come in and sort of have a trial week with our girls, and while they're practicing, you know, I'll just observe, watch. Same with Nancy, see what girls are in there, their potential. Some girls have everything they need. Some girls will be close, but usually if they're close enough, you can tell if they're going to get that skill in the next week or two.
Right.
A lot of these girls are coming from classes where they've only, you know, go once a week for a 7-week session.
Right. Or might be coming from dance or anything
Correct.
at some other world that has a lot of those skills.
Yep.
But
we've had some girls too who weren't in gymnastics in the spring. They still wanted to try out, so they were just trying to get those skills back that they had learned previously. So it will be that 2-day and more of an observation, laid back, nothing too stressful or anything for the girls. Just
there are some prerequisite skills though that go along with it, right?
yeah. So we
talk
wanted
to them.
On the bars, we wanted to make sure they could do a pullover and a back hip circle. Those are 2 of the main skills that they'll need for their routine.
Okay.
And there are more difficult skills that they'll learn throughout the year. But if they have the starting 2, everything else will go a lot smoother. And then on the floor, we just said a back walkover, which again, that just shows the flexibility, back bend, and being able to kick over. And then a round of back handspring with a light spot. So if they don't have it by themselves yet, but with a light enough spot that they can get it soon, because it's hard on the girls if they go all competition season without getting that skill. It brings their floor score down a full point and a half, depending.
Okay.
And so we think that would be the best bet to make our team as good as it can be.
Perfect. And the dates on that this year are?
May 16th and May 18th.
Okay, great.
From 4 to 5:30.
Yep. And you just come over to the Y. You do not have to be a member. Just stop at the front desk. There is no fee to come to that.
Correct.
If you would like to register for it, we certainly would like to be prepared that you're going to be there. So you can do that by stopping at the Y or going online and registering for the gymnastics team tryouts. This season coming to an end. How was it? How was
Great.
This season? Great.
Very great, yes.
How many girls are on the team?
We have 33.
Okay. And age levels for that? What is
6.
is the youngest?
Oh, 8.
She turned 7.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
She has turned 7, but she
Okay.
started at 6 and then up to 15.
Wow. That's really cool.
They're getting ready to
actually.
turn 16. So we have a huge.
And they don't practice all at the same time. Sometimes some are in a little bit earlier, some come in a little bit later, and then you see that whole group together. So they become a family, and they do a lot of fundings around the Y, and they're there to support some of your team members come back and help in the progressive program. And so Nancy, tell us a little bit about the progressive program. What ages does that start from, and how high do you go?
That starts at 3.
Yeah, age 3.
Yeah, age 3, and then they go all the way up to 18 if they want.
Yeah.
And they just come in once or twice a week, depending on what they want to sign up for. And we take classes and we structure it. And we have had a lot of the girls, as they get older, they realize, I love gymnastics, but I realize I'm not going to compete. But they want to be involved. So they come back as coaches.
Nice.
And they make the best, great teachers.
Yeah.
And they know what's going on. And sometimes they go, well, maybe I want to compete again.
Right.
And that works too. They can do both. So.
Right. That's awesome. Anything else either one of you want to say about your program, or any highlight that I missed? Any fun thing that you can remember? Are you ready for your 10 questions? I've been nervous about this. I can tell they're both like, I don't know what this is going to be like.
I just think for me, 2 years ago, well, it was July, 2 years ago, I was getting constant messages through Facebook on a random parent that I had no idea who she was, trying to say, we need you in here. Can you apply to take this program? We're losing our program. We need a coach. And I just answering the phone, calling, saying, I just can't. I have 4 kids. That's so busy. I quit my job as a teacher to be home with my kids. I just don't have all this time to give. And, she never stopped on me. And then in the, the background, I'm also, doing small groups and Bible studies through groups of friends. And I'm praying in directions of where should my life go? And this mom just still at me. And then I finally said, okay, I can give you 2 days a week. If this is going to work, you guys just have to support that 2 days a week. I've never coached competitive gymnastics before, but I I know how to teach people. I will give you 100% of my time, and I will learn what I don't know, and we'll see what happens. And I said, now it's looking back, it's like it was truly a God thing for that parent to come and just knock on my door until I finally said, okay. Just it's fulfilled so much of my life that I didn't know I was missing, and it's been such a blessing to me. Even though it is stressful and I do miss some time with my own family, I can't imagine not being in the position I'm in.
And we are super glad that you're here. Yeah, definitely.
She's been a godsend. She has been.
Yeah. And I love working for an organization that you can talk about that.
Absolutely.
And just be able to really share your faith and just know that it really is about listening to that spirit in your heart to bring you to what you need to be doing, because we all have that purpose that is so important. And to be able to share that with others, especially with our youth, and to bring them up right is such an important part. So thank you for that. Thank you for both of you for that, because I know over the years you have really influenced a lot of girls. And I will tell you one memory about Nancy that I love. I didn't really know you a whole lot, but it was you're a school teacher through Dover. Right? Did I get that right? Yeah. And it was the 100th day of school, and you came in to tell me you were going to do 100 cartwheels on the beam, and I was like, what are you doing? and so I'm back there taking a picture, and I'm thinking, I don't think I could do a cart, and I think I may have gone home and tried and may have put myself into a lot. I couldn't walk for probably a couple days, because I'm thinking, she's going to do 100 of these. I can't even do one. I used to be able to do them, but it was just an impressive.
Yeah, they used to be on the high beam, and then the medium beam, and then the low beam. But
that's awesome. All right, so here's your 10 questions. We're going to go back and forth here, so you'll just answer. What is the hardest stunt you have ever accomplished in gymnastics?
In gymnastics?
Yeah.
Probably the back handspring on the beam.
On the beam.
A double back tuck off the bars.
Oh, no idea what that is, but it sounds really hard. Okay. If you couldn't be doing what you are doing right now with this job, what job would you love to have?
I would love to be a cosmetologist and do hair and makeup. That's another love that I've always had.
We'll talk. I actually have that, or did have that license for a long time. And you?
Oh, I don't know. I always thought about it, maybe a dance teacher or...
I could see that.
She also makes cakes. Yeah. She showed me some pictures. They're beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Skill. I love cake, by the way, Nancy. Just little piece of information there.
Bring one in.
I think we already covered this, but let's do it again. Favorite gymnast of all times?
Probably Nadia.
Dominique Mucciano.
Yeah. I can't even say those names.
I did meet Dominic at a book showing one time.
Oh, we need to get your picture taken with this girl at this point. Yeah. Favorite color?
Blue.
Purple, as our team
as
color
your team
is.
color is. What's the last book either of you had a chance to read? Nancy's like, I don't ever have a chance to read.
I read a book yesterday. How is it spring? I was reading to a 5-year-old.
Well, hey, that counts.
I just finished. It was a daily devotion, but it was a month worth. The Power of the Praying Wife.
Oh, and you like it? Do you recommend it?
Yeah, I loved it. It was,
awesome.
The very beginning, it sort of really knocks you in your place. You think you're going to pray for your husband to make him change, and it was one of those from the start. No, this is about you need to change, and as you change and you pray for your husband, then he will change. But it's not. It's not me here just saying I'm going to pray for him.
It didn't start with, here's a list of things we're going to accomplish before the end of the book.
But it was a very, very great book. And they have one, Power of the Praying Husband, Power of the Praying Parent.
Nice. Okay. Look that up. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip.
Vanilla.
Vanilla. Okay. What song makes you want to just get up and dance?
Any of them. I like to dance to any songs. Any songs the girls are playing in the gym.
Favorite?
Yeah, no.
No?
Yeah, anything has a beat.
I would have totally been like Footloose. Like if I hear that song, I am only in my house dancing, but I do love that. I do love that song. Dog versus cat.
Dog.
Oh man. I'm going to get cat people on my side here pretty soon. Josh. What personal goal do you have right now? Do you have this is a hard one, I know, so take some time to think about that. And the last one is, what is your secret talent? So now that I've given you a little bit of time, do you have a goal right now that you can think of?
My main goal is just to raise my 4 kids and get them through and to be God-loving individuals who are making good choices and learning from their mistakes and just hard workers.
Okay, think about your secret talent.
My goal is to maybe fix up my house before I die.
Oh, somebody else can do that.
My kids would love that. They would enjoy that.
Oh, yeah. And then, do you have a secret talent? Well, I'll share you mine so that I can play one song on the accordion. It's not very good. It's Pop Goes the Weasel. And nobody will ever request that song, so I'd never have to share that talent. Okay. Do you have a secret talent?
I don't have a secret talent. I do. I've choreographed many like cheerleading competition routines and like being able to splice the music and put it together. Even the gymnasts now to cut their music down. If it's 1:10 and we decided, we need to take 10 seconds, I can splice it together and you'd never know there was missing parts.
Oh, so you have like a music programming kind of skill. Josh is like, okay, make a note of that just in case I need that done. Yeah. What about you? Do you have secret talent, Nancy? Other than 100 cartwheels and cakes?
Cakes. Most people don't know I play piano and violin.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
For how long?
Since I was in 3rd grade.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I have no musical talent. Usually I say it's gymnastics because I can still do a lot of gymnastics and different things, but for a gymnastics show, that sort of lost its luster.
Yeah, and I honestly don't have musical talent either. I've tried lots of different instruments. In fact, the violin, my husband bought me one. I may have said this in a previous podcast, but he had brought me one, and I never got it to make one sound. I thought, this thing's broken.
I couldn't do it with the trumpet. I wanted to be in the band so bad in 6th grade, and so my cousin gave me his trumpet, and I could not make a noise, so I had to give up that dream.
That your dream of being a trumpet player. That's a great one. I love it. Anything else, ladies, that you'd like to add before I close out our podcast for today?
Thank you for having us. This is fun.
Will you come back?
Absolutely.
Sure. Awesome.
I love to talk.
And it's cool because you get to put these headphones on. You got this mic, and if you want to break out into song, you obviously can anytime you want. Josh might cut you, but that's okay. All right. Well, this is our 18th podcast, and it has come to an end. If you have a Y story to share with us, please email me at kathleen@tuscymca.org. We'd love to hear from you, or if you'd like to be a member of our podcast. Take a moment to check out our website at tuscymca.org to find out about our gymnastics programs, as well as with all the other programs that we have at the Y, and follow us on Facebook. You can even catch up on past episodes of this podcast if you missed those from both of those outlets. At the Y, we are a nonprofit organization that focuses on youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. Financial assistance is always available. Stop by the Y soon. From all of us at the Who, What, When, Where, and Why podcast, don't forget to stick the landing.